What is up, Wholesale to Moon family? Today, I got another subscriber first wholesale deal in the review. Effon just closed his first wholesale deal from cold calling for $10,000. Obviously, he's going to share with you guys everything that got him that first deal. So make sure you get your pen, your paper ready, take some notes. But remember, nothing work if you don't. So welcome, my man, Effon. What's going on, dude?
Hey, how's it going, Khang?
Hey, dude, first off, man, thank you so much for taking your time to jump on to do this with me, man. But I'm ready to drop some bomb. Are you, dude?
Hell yeah, I am. Let's do it.
Hey, so first off, man, just a little bit about yourself, man, and then how you got into the whole wholesaling game, dude.
Yeah, of course. So, my name is Effon G. Demerville, but I tell people just call me Effon because it's a lot easier than my name.
Yeah.
So I've been an entrepreneur for a couple of years now. I started doing SMMA, which is social media marketing, but that
Oh,
market got so saturated that I kind of got sick of it and I got out of it. And then about a year ago, I started doing Airbnb, so short-term rental arbitrage with my business partner, who we live in the same house. He pretty much moved in with me and my other roommate. Everyone who lives here is an entrepreneur. My other roommate is a stock trader. He owns a trucking company, and I always wanted to get into real estate. So when I met him, I actually came across wholesaling, but I didn't start doing it yet. I
okay.
was just looking into it. How did I come across it? TikTok. I went on TikTok. I was just scrolling. I was bored, and then I came across some videos, and you were actually one of those videos that I saw. And you were talking about wholesaling. Oh, here's how you do this
Yep.
thing. You find a property, you put it on the contract, and then you just give it to another, up to a buyer. I'm like,
Yep.
this sounds simple. This makes sense. So why don't I just give it a shot? It took me a very long time to actually go ahead and try doing it. But at the end of the day, I actually started doing it. And unlike most people, which I saw in the comments, I don't know why it is, but there's a lot of people that are very negative that
Yep.
say, "Oh, this doesn't work. This is fake. This is crap."
Yep.
But I've never been that way. So I saw that I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. There's why not? And then it's very simple because even you give people free contracts, free scripts, and all that. So I took advantage of as much information as I could. And about 3 months ago, I actually started actually going wholesaling and going hard on it. And it's actually two deals, not three. The first
Ooh,
one,
okay.
yeah, it was three deals. Sorry, two deals, and I have another one under contract. So
Okay.
it's not one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, like, man, those people, like, there are people in the comments, man, that I've seen that ruins a lot of people's dreams because
Yeah.
it could be a 13-year-old boy behind the computer just punching in everything scam, scam, don't work, scam,
Right.
don't work. And
Right.
listen, man, the people that even adults, right?
Mhm.
They never tried it, never put in the work, right? They try for a week or 2 weeks or 30 days, and then they
Mhm.
quit, and then they tell you how it doesn't work. And then
Exactly. That's exactly
you
what it is.
and then you read those comments and you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, okay. Well, it's a scam. It doesn't work." Boom. You know?
Exactly. And then you don't do it. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Exactly how it is. But with me, um, I've always said if something doesn't work, because I've learned it that way, if something doesn't work, it's my fault. Because there's a lot of people doing making money with something. If I'm not making money and there are
Yep.
people making money, it's my fault. It's not the thing that doesn't work. It's just me. I'm not working enough.
I love it, man. Listen, I know from my personal experience, man, most successful people that I meet, it's always they take full responsibility.
Mhm.
Like they don't blame on anything, man. They make money, right? It's them. They lose money, it's them. The team
That's
don't
how it
work out, it's them, right? Like they never point fingers and blame on other circumstances or things, the economy, the president. Like, dude, true entrepreneur, true hustler, they always find a way, dude, to get that money. That's all
is.
they do, right?
Exactly. 100%. You can't blame people. You got to find a way and make it work. If it doesn't work, you're the one that's not working. It's not the thing.
Woo! Okay, Effon, man, let's jump into it, man. Let's break down your first wholesale deal, man. And I want to know is how long it take you to actually get your first deal. The reason I ask most people that I bring on for the first deal, I always ask that question because I want people to understand that this is not a get rich quick. Like you're not going to jump into something new with no knowledge, no experience, no connections. Like nobody takes you by your hand and tell you what to do. Like you have no leverage, right?
Right.
Like I'm talking about people that are starting from the bottom. Like most of us don't have aunt, uncle, or friends or family members that can mentor us, that can say, "Hey, I got this list here. Cold call for me. I'll help you put it under contract. Hey, I got the buyers already lined up for you. Once you get the deal, dude, it makes it so much easier that way, right? But
Yeah.
most of us, we don't, right? We started from the bottom and we try to figure things out as we go along. So I want people to understand that this is not a get rich quick, man. Right? It takes time because you got to educate yourself. Then you got to put in the work. You go through the try and the error, right? And then you try and figure this out. All right, dude. So when did you start?
Perfect. So I started looking into wholesaling for about a year. I was just looking at it, wasn't doing it. And then this year, I started around January. I'm like, I'm gonna go hard. I'm gonna do wholesaling. It took me a little bit of time, just learning some more information, right?
Yep.
But here's the thing that I think most people watching should take into consideration: is not about how much information you have; it's about what you do with that information. Because the thing with me is everyone that knows about wholesaling, they already know everything that they need to do. Even if they just saw one video on TikTok, for example, one of your videos, you say, go drive for $1, put that property under contract, and then find a buyer on Facebook group, for example. You literally tell them exactly what to do, right? You don't need more information. What you need to do is take more action. So that was the thing with me. So I think I started around March, actually going serious. Around February, I started going serious into wholesaling. Yes, it was February. Okay. I went to a thing with some of my friends because it was a friend of mine's birthday, I think it was. And I've always known other entrepreneurs. So some guy told me, hey, I have a friend of mine that does wholesaling. He makes 100 grand a month. I'm like, oh crap, can you put me in contact with him? He's like, yeah, I'll put you in a group chat. Put me in a group chat. The guy say, yeah, I'll be happy to hop on a call with you. And here's the thing. I hopped on a call with him the next day. Every single thing that he told me, I already knew. He didn't tell me anything new that I didn't know. He said, just get a prop stream, pull a list, and then just call the list, and you'll get your first deal, put it on the contract, and then just sell it. So I didn't learn anything new. It's just simple information that, I kind of needed that reassurance. So for a lot of people, you already know what you already need to know. You don't need more information. So just go ahead and start doing that. So he told me he started with a VA. I already knew that I wanted to get a VA because I didn't want to make the cold calls. So I went to a bunch of Facebook groups that I joined of people who are wholesaling, and I saw someone that mentioned, hey, I got a VA, and my VA, I pay them like $3 or $4 an hour. Because that guy, his VA, the one that makes $100,000 a month that they put me in contact with, his VA, he pays about $20, $25 an hour. I couldn't pay that. I'm like, I can't pay that. So I found that person. I'm like, hey, can you put me in contact with your VA company? She puts me in contact. I get the VA. The VA starts cold calling. I go on PropStream and I pull multiple lists. The list where I found my first wholesale deal was tax delinquent. So I pull a tax delinquent list here in Tampa, Florida, which is where I'm based out of. And then I had the VA cold call. She started calling. She got multiple leads. And then I got one of them. And I got the email. I called him. I started talking to him. He's actually from the Dominican Republic. He speaks Spanish and English. I'm from the Dominican Republic too, so I used that to also build rapport with him. I started speaking Spanish with him. I go over there and I meet up with him. Nice. And I put that property under contract. Actually, when I put that property under contract, he wanted $210,000 for it, but that property was worth $240,000. But that property was turnkey. I'm like, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna put it on the contract for that amount. I'm like, let's just do it. Let's put it on the contract for $210,000. Put on the contract for $210,000. I started looking for buyers. No one wants to buy it for that much. I met a guy. He messaged me like, hey man, I saw that deal that you have for sale, but I wouldn't be where you want me to be, so I don't want to just shoot a number to disrespect because it's our first deal together. I don't want you to have a wrong impression of me or that I'm like lowballing you. I'm like, yeah, no worries. And then a day after I messaged him, I'm like, hey, so how much would you be willing to pay for it? I think he said he would be willing to pay anywhere from 170 to 180 for it. All right, cool. So I go back to the guy and I renegotiate with him.
The seller, okay.
The seller, yeah. So I go back to the seller and I start talking to him. I'm like, hey, I talked to some of my buyers, to some of my clients that want to buy it. I have one guy that's willing to buy it. He's willing to close quick, pay all of the closing costs, and you'd be ready to move out. Also knew why he wanted. He wanted to move out so he can retire and go back to his country, to the Dominican Republic, and finish building his house because he has a bunch of land there. So I use that as motivation. I'm like, hey, this is enough money for you to do that, for you to go back to the Dominican Republic, buy something here, a trailer house, whatever, leave it here, you and your family. Actually, his wife didn't want to sell, but he wanted to sell, so he ended up selling. So I negotiated with them. I'm like, hey, this guy is willing to pay 160, but he was willing to pay 170 to 180. So for me, I'm like, he's willing to pay 180. So then he's like, no, I can't do that. It has to be at least 200. So I sit down there with him. I just let him talk. I don't say anything. And then he goes back. I can do like 180, but that would be the most, 180. I'm like, give me a second. Let me call him. So I take my phone and I call my roommate and I pretend that I'm on the phone with the buyer. I'm like, hey, so I have him here. He's willing to sell, but he says he needs you to be at 180. Can you do that? But my friend's not even talking on the phone. I'm like, hey,
Right.
listen, he said he can do 165, but that would be the most. He's like, can you at least come up to 170? I act like I'm on the phone. Can you come up to 170? He's like, yeah, I can do that. I'm like, perfect. He said he can do 170. Ripped up the contract. I made him sign another one on site because I printed them, and I made him sign it right then and there. So I have another contract for $170,000. And then I called the guy. I'm like, hey, I have the property. I'll assign it to you for $180,000. Would you take it? He's like, yes. And the reason why I did that is because 2 days before I read a book. The name of the book is If You Can't Wholesale After This, I've Got Nothing For You. It's actually this book right here. I just got it from Amazon. Okay. And on the book, one of the chapters is like, hey, you're not looking for you're not looking for buyers for houses. You're looking for houses for buyers. So you go, you find the buyer first, and you know how much the buyer is willing to pay, and then you negotiate based off of that. And that's pretty much what I did. So I did that with him, got the property on the contract for 170. I signed it to him. That property took about 3 weeks to close. And then when the property closed, I realized that the guy ended up reassigning that property and made another $23,000 on top of me. So I was like, oh, Rob, I could have sold it for more. Yeah, he ended up reassigning it. And who he reassigned it to was, what's the name of this company? I can't remember their name.
So he sold to a hedge fund?
No, it wasn't a hedge fund. There's this company, their name, I can't remember the name, but there's this company, they're pretty much wholesalers. So they double close on properties and then they reassign it. So they were one of those big companies. That's what he did. So that company at the end of the day ended up closing on it too and reassigning it again. So probably to a hedge fund. So I'm like, there was a ton of money on that deal, but it was my first deal. I was like, damn, I could have made a lot more money from that deal.
Wait, okay, dude. So let me break down this deal really quick. So what's the actual ARV on the property?
It was around 240 based on when I ran my numbers. Around 240.
Okay. So to me, I don't know. I don't understand. It got the ARV has to be more than 240 for it to make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So how much does it cost to rehab the property?
The property was turnkey.
Oh, okay. So nothing. Ready to go.
Ready to go. Yes.
Got you. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about. So you got under so you renegotiated and got under contract for how much? 170.
170.
170. Sold it for 180.
180, correct.
Got you. And the guy got it for 180. Sold it over for how much?
He made $23,000 on top of me.
So 203.
203. Yeah.
203. And then you said after that, someone.
That same company. That's what they do. They resold it to a hedge fund, probably based on.
Wait, so the guy that bought it from you assigned it to someone for 203, and then the guy that bought it for 203 assigned it again?
He closed on it and he double closed on it.
Correct.
Much.
Okay, so
double closed on it.
So the guy that got it at 203, do you know how much he sold over to the hedge fund for?
I don't remember, but I think it was 225.
Damn. Yeah. Holy shit. Okay. And now the property, so the deal on this one here is that this is probably going to be a long-term rental, or it could be an Airbnb. It's the only way that it'll make sense because obviously there's no more meat in the bone for the end buyer. But the end buyer seems like he's going to rent. So how much can we rent this house out for?
That house can easily rent for $2,000, $2,500 a month. Is it 3 bedroom?
That's okay. See, I mean, that's the only reason why it will make sense.
And that company that ended up double closing on it is called New Western. I just remember the name. I don't know if
New Western.
New Western. Yeah, they double closed on it. That's what they do.
Got you. And then okay, so this is a turnkey, which did you know that? I mean, I'm like 99.9% sure that they turn into a rental.
They definitely are going to, or they definitely turn it into a rental.
Got you. Yep. So for those of you who listen to me, there are a company out there. What they do is that they focus on turnkey property. Here's what turnkey property means for those of you who's new. Turnkey property is that they buy property for investors, typically people it could be people from China, right? Like these people, they got so much money that they need to park their money somewhere. And they don't want to have anything to do with it. All right. So they hired this company, all right, that actually does turnkey property, where they find the deal, they renovate the deal, they put the renter in there, they do everything for them. And all these investors do is they just come up with the money to buy it. and they're willing to buy at retail. Some of them will buy even more than retail, right? Depending on supply and demand. But a lot of them just want to unload and park their money in real estate. So yeah, I mean, so for those of you who don't know, hedge funds majority of the time will pay you a lot more than regular investors will do. All right. So finding hedge fund to work with, those are probably very beneficial for you guys to do that. But here's something I want to talk about, Effon, that since you brought this up, and for those of you who's watching, majority of wholesaler, right, tell you what I'm about to tell you, they tell you not to do because it's just unethical. But I'm here to tell you that there's ways that you can do this. And to me, the quickest way for you to get your first deal is to actually do what Effon is doing. Is you need to reverse it, and you need, like, basically you turn a no deal into a deal. So Effon said, screw it, man. It's worth $240, but what the heck? I'll put on a contract for $210, and then I'll work my way. And I still do it to today. Sometimes we put the property in the contract and the number's off, and I will turn a no deal into a deal all the time. But here's something I want you guys to understand, though. Make sure when you decided to do something like this, that you're upfront with the seller, that let the seller know, hey, listen, your price is really high. I can probably get my team or my partner to accept it. But I want to let you know that, obviously there's going to, my partner or my contractor will have to go out and look at the property. We'll make sure everything is good before we move forward. And if there's nothing wrong, we should be able to move forward. But if not, then I want to let you know that, we have to look at the property and inspect the property, right? And if somehow we find that there's a lot of repairs, we'll tell you what our new offer would be. So as long as you're upfront with the seller, like you're not pulling their leg, dragging them on, knowing that knowing that your number is completely off, that you're not going to be able to close on it. Like, you don't want to do that. But if you can be upfront with the seller, like Effon did, he built rapport, built really good connections, right, with the seller. And to me, this is the quickest way you can get a deal in wholesaling.
Right.
Put the property under contract. When you get on the phone with the seller, if you know that he or she is somewhat motivated to sell, just lock it up on a contract. Market the deal out to the buyer. The buyer obviously going to tell you your whack is too high. Always. Like when I first got into real estate, when a buyer tell me, hey, the number's not going to work, I never ask them, well, what will work for you? I just thought that, hey, it's not a deal, so I just move on to the next buyer. But you always want to ask them. So I understand Effon 210 won't work, but Effon did exactly just that. He texted a guy back. He said, well, what will work for you? Now you got now you got a contract, which is now you got inventory. The next thing is now you need a buyer. You need a buyer. And the buyer come back and told Effon I would do between 170 to 180. So now he got someone that's ready to go, ready to buy. He go back and he obviously just renegotiates and make the deal work. To me, honestly, for those of you, if you're new, if you want to get over the hump, because some of you are too scared to put a property in a contract and you just can't get over that hump, that fear, because you feel like you have to buy the property. Number one, as long as you have a contingent in your contract, which every buyer's, I don't care if you buy the property on market or off market, going through a real estate agent or not, there's always a contingent for the buyer, an inspection contingent, which means in that time frame, you get to do your research. You get to go and look at your property. And for us as a wholesaler, that's the time where we send our buyer. And if you don't want to move forward to buy the property, you can just cancel the contract back out. I'm not giving you any legal advice here, right? Check with your attorney. But as far as I'm sharing with you my experience, if the number don't work, you just call back, cancel. The seller can't sue you. They cannot pressure you to buy the property because it's already in the contract that you have an inspection contingent. Once again, all real estate agents know this. List market, list property, non-off market, doesn't matter. As a buyer, you have a contingent. Unless you want to waive the inspection contingent, then which means you're going to buy it sight unseen, okay? So if you have earnest money tied up within that inspection, you can't find a buyer, you can back out, get your money back out, and move on to the next deal. But once again, not giving you any legal advice.
Right, exactly.
So Effon, dude, bro, so how long did it, so you started in February. When did you get your first deal, dude?
That one closed It closed in March, around March something. So I would say it took about 3.5 weeks to close from the time that
Damn.
I put it
Okay.
under contract to the time it ended up closing. It actually wasn't my first deal that I had on the contract. The first deal that I had on the contract, I found that one on Facebook Marketplace. It was a lot. It was a huge lot, 1 acre. I'm like, oh my God, I can get this on the contract and probably wholesale it. And the numbers made sense. I'm like, oh crap, I'm gonna make 50, 70, or 100 grand on this. But it
Yep.
was a very industrial area, and I had a multiple people that I sent it to. They looked at it like the area won't work, and because of
Sure.
that, they didn't end up buying it. So I ended up losing that one. And one thing that you did mention is definitely make sure that you talk to the seller, but let
Mm.
them know that you're gonna probably renegotiate if the numbers don't make sense.
Yep.
And one thing that I made sure, I put 30 days inspection there for myself, so I could save
Yep.
myself just in any case. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, if that property doesn't, I don't find a buyer, what's the worst that can happen? I can either just cancel the contract, and I'll be
Yep.
totally fine with that. But at least I gave it a shot. At least I tried it.
Love it, man. So once again, you guys build rapport with the seller. Be upfront. If you know that you're gonna put it under contract at a high price, just be upfront with the seller. All right, because reputation is everything. You don't want to go around town and put all property under contract after you
Mhm.
watch this video. All right, I'm just telling you guys. For those of you who wants to get your feet wet to get over that hump, you just need to understand that this is something you can do. And then now you have inventory you can send out to the buyer, and then you can do it that way. Okay, but reputation is everything. You don't want to do that on every property. Okay. Okay. So Effon, man, bro, how can people connect with you and then do deal with you or anything like that, man?
You can shoot me a message on Instagram. It's at I am Effon, IAMEFFAN. Or that's the best way to find me, because if I give you my full name to look me up on Facebook, it's gonna be
Yeah.
very difficult for you to find me. But it's totally possible. A lot of people won't believe it. So
Yes.
here's
Show
the
me the
check.
money.
10,000. Right here. There we
You,
go.
you
10,000.
haven't even cashed it yet, dude.
So here's the thing: the title company actually made a mistake. So they wrote the company name wrong. After they
Oh,
sent me the check, they told me just void it and we'll give you a direct deposit. So
right.
I fakely wrote void on it with
Yep.
Photoshop, sent
Yep.
them a picture, and then they gave me the direct deposit. And the
Yep.
second one, I don't have it because I already cashed it, but here's the copy. The second one
Yeah, I want to
is
see it.
$34,000.
Holy wait, 34,000 on a second deal?
Yeah, 34. That was the most interesting one. This one was 34,000.
Okay, so I know that we don't have time for this, bro. Shit. So the 34,000 deal, dude, like, where do you find that deal?
That one, that was very quick. I'm gonna run you through it very quickly. I read on a Facebook, someone was asking how do I get my first deal. In the comments,
Yep.
someone said, "Pull a list of properties that are on pre-foreclosure and
Yep.
go door knock them." I pulled the list. I was bored. I went door knocking. The first door I door knocked on, boom, put it on their contract. The initial assignment fee was gonna be 12,500,
Yep.
but then I went back again and renegotiated and took it up to 34,000.
Boom. I'm telling.
Yeah.
Okay, man, Effon is dropping bomb because I'm telling you guys, the renegotiating, man, I've made way more money renegotiating than the initial when I put on the contract.
Right.
Holy cow. Holy
Most
cow,
people don't
dude.
do that. There's a video that I watched about a guy that said he used to work for Grant Cardone,
Yep.
and this is what he learned from him. I only remember one thing from that video, and he said he puts the properties on their contract, those big multifamily, and
Yep.
then he negotiates. Because how are you going to negotiate something if you don't have it on their contract?
Mm.
So I make sure that I still have some money that I'm going to make, but I make sure I'm able to renegotiate then after. Because then I went back to the summer, hey, this needs way more work than we expected. There's this, there's that. We need a little bit of a discount, and also make sure that you're solving a problem. The reason why I was able to increase it is because I asked her, "What do you need? How much you need to walk away with, and why?" She said, "I need to buy a lot in Florida, in another area outside of Tampa, and I want to buy a couple of trailer homes." I went, I looked for lots. I'm like, "Hey, here's 3 lots. They're $20,000, $30,000. Here's a list of people that I talked to. I talked to like 30 people that are selling their trailer homes or their RVs, sorry, and you can get those from like $5,000 to $10,000. So you get 3 easily." So you'll be able to do what you want to do and still keep $50,000. Can we get $20,000 extra discount? She's like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Love it, dude. Man, I love it, bro. Okay, so Effon, let's wrap it up, man. What are some tips, advice that you want to give for those that are, obviously new into the game, trying to get their first deal or maybe their second one, etc., dude?
You already have all the information that you need. Just take action. If you're watching this video, we literally just told you exactly what you need to do. Find the property, put it under contract, and assign it to a buyer. It's pretty simple. and make sure you have, an inspection period for 30 days. And if you are able to hire someone to make the cold calls, hire someone to make the cold calls. And if you want to get your first deal within the next week, literally pull a list of pre-foreclosures and go door knock them. The reason why it works with that list is because most of them don't pick up the phone because they have the bank calling them. This is literally the first door that I knocked on, and I made $34,000 from it.
Boom. A lot of you are, you're going at this, and let me tell you again, just one good deal, 34 G's.
34 G's.
Boom. It will change your life, your bank account for sure. It will change everything around, and I promise you, your confidence will skyrocket, and bro, the rest will be history. Effon, I want to say thank you so much, bro, for taking time to jump on to do this with me, man. Once again, dude, Effon, how can people connect with you, man?
Just shoot me a message on Instagram. It's at IamEffon, IAMEFFAN.
Fantastic, bro. Thank you so much, man. Take care, dude.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you so much, dude. All right, you guys. So for those of you, listen, that are watching this, listen, we already gave you all the information that you need, right, for you to go out there, do your first deal. All right, nothing work if you don't. But I know some of you might be just like me when I first started. It took me 6 months to get my first deal. I knew that I need a mentor, someone that can take me by my hand, that I can ask questions, get help, get guidance, get support, that give me the tools, everything that I needed to really get rocking and rolling. So if that's you, if you need more of a coaching, a mentorship, all right, that tells you exactly what you need to do specifically. And if you want someone that you like, hey, you know what, I ran into this, how can I figure this out? Boom. Right? We'll give you 24/7 support, guidance, and everything that you need to actually get that first deal. Or maybe for those of you who have done a couple of deals, but you're like, hey, Khang, I'm stuck, dude. I want to grow and scale my business. I want to have a team of VA. I want to put system and a team in place. So that way I'm not working in my business. I'm tired of being that one man, one woman show. Dude, I've built a team of 7 VAs that does my whole entire wholesaling operations. We do about 8 deals a month. I'm cranking out about 150,000 or so a month just on wholesaling. I work 1 hour a day on my wholesaling business. I got VAs that cold call, filter the leads, put property in a contract, sell the deal, like everything. So if you want to copy and duplicate, like have the same system as I am, so that way you can obviously buy back your time and actually go do the things that you love and enjoy. For me, I love creating content. I love teaching, right? So if that's something that you're interested in, if you want to get on my WTM Wholesale to Million Academy, just go coachwithkhang.com. Go coachwithkhang.com. Book a call with one of my team. We'll jump on the phone with you. We'll give you some guidance, and then we'll let you know exactly how we can help you out and help take your life, your game, your bank account to a whole nother level. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to show your boy King Khang some love. Boom, smash that thumbs up. I hope it added a lot of value to you. And if it does, drop me a comment down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to boom, smash that subscribe button. But listen, once again, dreams don't work unless you do. Nothing work if you don't, my friend. Until next time, take care and ciao.